There's an interesting paradox that I've kind of discovered in my own life. And when you're a kid, right, or when I was a kid at least, I did my daily routine, of course, but you always thought, like, man, I wish I could be a grown up, They have so much freedom, they're so smart, right? They can do everything. And I'm just this, stupid kid who has to follow the rules and do everything that all these, authoritative figures tell me to do. And, you think, oh man, I wish I could be a grown up. I wish I could be adult as fast as possible. And the funny thing is, as soon as you become a grown up, let's say, you realize it ain't that great. It's not that good. It's not that, bright as you thought it would be. And you start, becoming a grown up. You kind of finding yourself, you're kind of lost. Like, what do I do? What am I going to do? How am I going to get there? And as soon as you start doing that, you want to become a kid again, right? And this is, most grown-ups that I see nowadays, they wish that they could be a kid again, right? Because they don't want to take on those responsibilities. They don't want to do, the hard stuff. They just want to do the easy stuff. And I don't mean just, working or something like that, but I mean like, making tough decisions, taking care of yourself, health, mental, and trying to, better yourself, just make a better life for yourself, I guess. And you can really only truly do that once you're a grown up, right? Because as a kid, you're in the, comfort of your own home or in your parents' home. And that's the law, what the parents say is the law. And if you don't go with it, then you get, issues and stuff. But the main thing is to see this, paradox or kind of ironic situation where the kids want to be, adults, but as soon as you become an adult, you want to be a kid again. Because, kids are free, basically. They can do, what they want. There's my dog back there in the background. And they can, have fun. They can do stuff without, serious consequences, I would say. And it's a different type of life. And I get it, why most adults, they want to, and you can see this, in publicly, and in the news and stuff, like all these like billionaires and stuff, and all these like people who have a lot of, resources. They are always trying to, recreate their childhood or recreate a better childhood. They're always trying to go somewhere, always trying to get the newest gadgets, the newest tech, the newest, fun activities. They're always going there. They're always, trying to keep up with, trends and stuff. And that's the same thing what kids kind of do, When you're a kid, you see a new commercial, you see a new toy, or somebody in your school brings something that's, trendy. Everyone's like, oh, wow, we got to get into that. That's super cool, and that's kind of what these, adults are doing nowadays, and it's kind of sad, to be honest, because the most important thing at the end of the day, if we're honest to each other, is, your health and your family, if you have a family, and making sure, you can be sane, I guess, in this crazy world. And as you can see, most people are just trying to live the other life that they can't have at the moment, right? So if they're in the childhood phase, they want to be an adult. If they want in the adulthood phase, they want to be a child, right? And it's just an interesting paradox to observe. And there's many more like this, but this is just something that, kind of speaks to me because I have 3 kids, and they, are the best kids that anyone can have, honestly. And they're so smart, and they're so full of energy and joy. It's crazy. But, they always want to be, oh, I want to be a grown up. I want to be, do this thing because I can't do this thing now, right? And that's that paradox, right? And as soon as they start being grown ups, or even I, as soon as I started being grown up, man, it was tough, right? Because the main problem is they don't tell you anything, right? They don't tell you anything in school, and parents and all these, support councils or whatever you want to call it. Nobody tells you really nothing about life, right? They can tell you some stuff about, geometry, or maybe even how to, apply it somewhere, but they're never going to tell you about, the real things that matter in life. And the main things that actually are going to come up, every single year, those things are not talked about. And in my opinion, that's on purpose, because they want, people to be stupid and dumb, and that way you can, control them easier. But the main thing is you or we all need to do our own research, do our own, study, and don't think it's over once you get an adult, right? Have that kid spirit, but don't act like a kid, right? You need to grow up eventually. Sadly, that's part of life, but it can be wonderful because you learn so much more, and you realize, okay, I can change things that are supposedly not changeable, right? So that's all I got.